Hello guys, it's Wednesday, a little bit after lunchtime, a little bit late, been quite busy, signing up lots of new people this week. It's been great. It's our Wednesday live Q&A. So these are a few questions that we get sent throughout the week. It's been really popular this week. So we've just had so many people starting their fitness journeys this week. We had, I think about 40 people start with us about 2 Mondays ago with our outdoor program. And then we had about another 60 people start with us 2 days ago with our indoor and outdoor program. So lots of new people, about 100 new people coming through our doors and outside at the moment, which is amazing. So we are finding that we're getting the same sort of questions popping up. So I did a little video about this in our Inner Circle Facebook group yesterday, which is just for the people on our programs, but I'm just extending this one a bit wider as well to our other groups live, my personal Facebook profile, YouTube, and wherever it is that you might be watching this from. So fuel and recovery is the subject for this week because a lot of people have been asking the same sort of question. So I'll approach the first one, which is fuel. What sort of stuff should I be eating before exercise? So firstly, that comes down to the time that you might be doing your exercise. So if you're going to be exercising early in the morning, and we actually run a 6 a.m. class, chances are you're not going to be having a substantial breakfast before that. So if you're someone that's like me, likes to roll out of bed and rush to get the class, to get to the class so you don't get too comfy at home, to make yourself do it, then chances are you're not going to have time to have a proper breakfast. So really, you don't want to be exercising on an empty stomach just for energy and things like that. So if you are going to be exercising really early in the morning and you've not had time to have your proper breakfast, then I would say a piece of fruit just on your way to the class, or just literally before you leave, or even when you get there, just a little bit of fruit. It could be a satsuma, handful of grapes or something like that, just for that fast release energy. Sugar in fruit is really good for just giving you an instant kick of energy. Some people don't like to eat first thing, so they might just avoid it. So it'd be really important then that once you finish that early morning session, if you are doing a 6 a.m. session somewhere at the gym, out for a run, whatever it is, that you then get breakfast in straight away. It's really important that you get the post-workout carbs in as soon as possible. So when you get home, having some wholemeal bread with some scrambled eggs on there or poached eggs would be a really good example of what sort of breakfast to have straight after your workout. Some people don't really have an appetite straight away, so just let yourself calm down a bit, maybe go have your shower and then have something to eat after that. So that would be if you're doing an early morning. If you're doing a mid-morning sort of time, maybe a 9:30, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock workout, then realistically you want to be having something fairly substantial a couple hours before. Again, toast, I use that as an example, brown bread, ideally wholemeal, and some form of peanut butter spread's quite good for protein. Some people like beans on toast before a workout. That's not a bad one if you don't think that's too heavy. Obviously not too many. Poached eggs, again, is always a good one as well. So something like that, and maybe a fruit juice or some fruit on the side would be great as well. Some people obviously still like cereal. It's not the best. There is a lot of sugar in cereal, not all cereals, but bran flakes and Weetabix are perfect substitutes for a cereal. Granola is another one which I'm guilty of certainly having too much granola. Again, that can be quite high in sugar. So you just got to be careful with the sort of things you're having. Oats would be ideal. Something like porridge oats would be really, really good. Again, just add stuff to it naturally. Honey, natural yogurt and fresh fruit is always better than having a pot that you just had hot water to, because again, they're very high in sugar. So that would be something that you would have about 2 hours, hour and a half before the exercise. And again, if you feel like you need it, just a little bit of fruit just before you start. You want to be eating before you exercise. You don't want to be exercising on an empty stomach, especially if it's something that you're new to. If it's something that it's new for you, chances are you're going to get pushed out of your comfort zone a little bit, and then your body can react and you can sometimes feel a bit lightheaded and dizzy. So you've got to watch out for that. And it's really good to have something in the system to prevent that happening. If it does happen, just get some sugar on board, an energy drink, lots of water, things like that are always good for getting you out of that funk. If it's an afternoon workout or lunchtime, again, as long as you've had something substantial a couple hours before and a little top up just before, that's great. But the post-workout meal is really, really important. So having something straight after your workout, they reckon within 15 minutes of finishing your exercise is the perfect window to get some protein on board. Some people take it really seriously or maybe exercise more regularly. You might have a protein shake after their workout. That's absolutely fine. I wouldn't recommend it as a meal substitute. I wouldn't have it instead of a meal, but certainly on the side with a banana and a snack would be fine. For anybody, by the way, anybody starting exercise, a protein shake's really good for recovery. And that brings me to the second half of this chat. So recovery, guys, we've had probably more messages in the last 2 days from new signups about the pain that they're in and the comments they're getting. And I don't want to scare anyone off here that is new, that's contemplating starting some form of exercise program or a gym or whatever it is. But guess what? If you're new to it, it's going to hurt. So there's things that you can do to help that. So one, the worst thing you can do after a workout is to then sit down on your bum for 3 or 4 days doing nothing because you're in pain. Again, we get messages all the time. I've been getting loads this week. People actually saying, I'm in so much pain, my muscles hurt so much, I don't think I can come and do my second session this week. I might just wait for next week. It's the worst thing you can do. There's a reason why we do proper warm-ups and stretches and things like that. Usually once you've actually done a warm-up, and this will be the same with everyone at our classes, and for any of you that go elsewhere or do the gym or anything like that, maybe you've had a personal training before, you know that you're going to hurt if you exercise muscles that aren't used to being used, whether that's because you've never used them or it's just been a very long time, or you're doing something completely new that you've not done before. You might already be fairly fit. You might be someone that jogs regularly or cycles regularly or swims, but then all of a sudden you start doing some exercises and working muscles you've just never used. So your body will go into shock, but that's a good thing. And this is where you have to learn the difference between a good pain and a bad pain. A bad pain is, oh, my back's gone. What's that? A good pain is, I can barely lift my arms. I can barely walk up the stairs or down the stairs. And we've had all sorts coming in this week. So it's completely normal. But the worst thing you can do is sit down and do nothing. The best thing you can actually do is keep going. But just go lighter, a recovery walk the next day. So maybe you had a workout on the Monday, you're really sore. Go for a nice long walk the next day and really loosen up those muscles again, followed by some stretching. If that's not helping, a nice hot bath with some Radox in there, all sorts of muscle soaks and salts and things like that can really, really help. If you want to go extreme, Hoffman, the guy that's all over the news at the minute, who does all the ice cold baths and things like that. An ice cold bath is proven to really, really help your muscles recover. It doesn't have to be actual blocks of ice in there. When I used to do marathon training, if I'd come straight in from a long run, I would just run the bath water cold, no warm water in there added at all. And I'd time myself for 10 minutes. And then you got to reward yourself with a nice hot bath afterwards. And if you've got the time, that is one of the best things you can do for recovery for sore legs in particular. But you've got to be brave for that. But you soon get used to it. That's the truth. You will get used to it. Ibuprofen, last case scenario, take some ibuprofen, anti-inflammatories, help those muscles recover. But the best thing you can do is keep moving, drink lots and lots and lots of water, because that will also help your muscles repair. But guess what, guys? If the muscles hurt, it's working. If it doesn't hurt, it's not been enough for you. You need to make sure that you were aching after our workouts, and that does not matter what level you are at. Even the top athletes, even us personal trainers, we have to push ourselves to make our muscle fibers tear, and that's when they hurt, but they have to then repair overnight the next day, and that's when we're still burning fat. So we do need to tear those muscle fibers in a good way, not pulling muscles. That's a bad thing. But then we get the protein in, the carbs in to help those muscles repair and to get our energy levels back up. So that's been a long one, but I hope that's been helpful, because there are so many people starting exercise programs now. The gyms are allowed to be open, whether that's because it's the first time for you or you've never done anything like this before. Hopefully that's been helpful. If you have watched it and it's been helpful, pop a comment in the box and let us know how you're feeling. If it is your first week with us, check in, and I hope to hear from you soon. Let us know if you have any questions. As always, see you soon.